Why should you go to Italy, Greece or Spain when you can have this?
Our first stop is in the medieval town of Braunfels. It's in the south of Germany. It used to have a wall and a fortress that afterwards became in the castle, was destroyed for a fire but was rebuilt, and now we can enjoy it.
The town and castle were first mentioned in 1246. As of about 1260, the castle belonged to the noble family Solms-Braunfels. Nowadays, the castle is still a family residence that partially can be visited under guidance. However, the outside is free to visit and will astonish you for its beauty and the surroundings of the picturesque town. The town has a beautiful marketplace where you will find many places to enjoy a relaxing afternoon as well as a comfortable stay to spend the night. We personally recommend you to go up the castle by nightfall so that you can experience the misty clouds covering the surrounding valley.
I'm trying my best to hold on. It's not easy, but I'm feeling stronger with you. And the days don't work out the way I thought they would. And before you there was no one who understood. Sometimes I can't see, but it feels like you're the one who saves me. When I try, but don't succeed.
On our way to the second castle, we pass this beautiful quarry. In here they mine hard stone, which they process and they use it as a binder when they build roads. So the deeper you go into the hole, the further you go back in history. So the minerals down there are over 380 million years old. Incredible.
I look into your eyes, I see we're out.
Ah, look, Mosel. That's the name of the river that runs through the town.
No one's to blame, nobody crossed the line. I guess we couldn't see, somehow we couldn't feel. Maybe we rose too fast, maybe we got too high.
The Eltz castles is a very beautiful fortress, medieval fortress, have more than 800 years old. It's an awesome and very touristical place, as you can see the line behind me.
Yeah, I do remember tears and the laughter.
Eltz was the founder of the castle, and at the beginning was really small. Then he had 3 kids and they divide the property in 3 big castles. They used to live together very well and they built together, they still manage together, and 2 parts of the castle is open to the public until today. Everything what you see is from the original times. Well, I'm so glad that I did it. This is a very beautiful place, and then afterwards you can go for a nice coffee or water. Very nice, recommended.
So it's the way you used to feel. Maybe we rose too fast, maybe we got too
We are now in Heidelberg.
Heidelberg.
Heidelberg. This is a very nice, beautiful structure. It's pretty big. It's a medieval kind of construction. It's part ruins and part building. The materials are clay and sand, and that makes it really weak. This is special because they have the museum of the pharmacy.
Yeah, that was very impressive because they were experimenting a lot with spices and minerals and stuff they found or important from other countries, trying to find a solution for a certain disease, and they did just fine. Okay, so we know that Germany has a long history of brewing wine, and we all know these barrels, these kind of barrels. Now, that's sufficient for a small housekeeping, but when you're in a castle, you need a bigger barrel. So in medieval times, you had like 100 of people who were porting all the time, and in order to keep them drunk for 2 weeks, you need a big barrel. So a big barrel of wine this size comes in handy. But when you have about 1,000 people, you need an even bigger barrel. And then they build barrels of 220,000 liters or 58,000 gallons of wine. So you end up with a product like this. Whoa, look at the size of this bastard. This is actually the biggest barrel of wine ever built in the world.
And after the visit to the castle that dures like half an hour approximately, we went with our bikes to the centrum of the city, and was unexpected because it's a medieval centrum, yes, but it's pretty young and it's pretty modern. Have a very nice Winkelstraat. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. So after that, we went to the centrum, which was very unexpected because besides to be a medieval centrum, is as well a shopping centrum and have as well an university. So you can see a lot of young people, places to take coffee, restaurants, etc. So we literally spent the entire afternoon biking around and just getting lost in this beautiful city.
This is one of my favorite castles. It's the Lichtenstein castle. It's not the biggest castle we've seen so far. It's one of the smallest actually, but it's the most romantic one until now. It's so beautiful that it catches me. What's so beautiful inside is you have all these relics. They didn't have wallpaper in those days, and what they did in this castle, they painted everything by hand. Every single centimeter is painted by hand. Very beautiful. The castle has a very long history. It dates back all the way from the 1100s, but it fell into decay after several hundred of years until a count called Wilhelm read something in a book, a nice story, about a castle that he wanted to build, and he built it right here. He lived in there until 1890, and then he moved out into the village because it's in winter you cannot live in the castle actually. It's so cold, and then only he used it in summer during holidays. He came with his family to enjoy the surroundings because it's a very, very beautiful valley.
Is Neuschwanstein, the reason of my trip and the inspiration for Walt Disney's logo and the famous story of the beauty sleeping. It's a very special touristic attraction. Actually, more than 1.4 million of people visit this place every year, and in his entire story has been 130 millions of visitors. Is the main activity of Baviera. Big, elegant, in between the mountains, inspiration of so many fairy tale stories, but the reality behind this castle is very far to be a fairy tale story. Imagine a little prince surrounded by nature and fairy tale stories. The result, he created a parallel world full of this fantasy and this castle to make it true. He became a king when he was just 18 years old. So that is why he had this ideal way to rule. He thought that he can change the world and do a different kind of kingdom. But when he went to Munich, he realized that was not possible for him because he was not the one ruling, was other people ruling in his place. So he built this castle to escape, and escape so much that cost for him the kingdom. They declared him incapable to rule because he was too much time in here playing to be king.
This is one of the latest castles ever built. It dates back from 1886, so it's pretty modern for its standards. When it was built, they used, for instance, steam-engined machines to build and to lift the rocks. But inside, it's state-of-the-art comfort. Like, he has an electric belt to call his servants. He just has to push and pull some buttons and something beeps and a servant will come up for his demands. Or he has, for instance, heating. We're talking about 1886. 1890 took only 4 years to build the entire castle. Amazing technology.
Embraced by the charms of the German Alps, you will find it necessary to extend your stay for a few more days. Only then you will experience the true grace of its wonders. From the peak of its mountains, you see the greatness of nature that will impress you endlessly. And for the adventurer amongst you, there are plenty of choices to make. Parapounding, biking or hiking, or just a few of the activities you can choose from. We suggest you travel well prepared and buy your tickets way in advance so that you won't end up standing in front of a sold-out ticket booth.
After visiting 5 castles, it was time to go home. On our way back, we stayed in 2 cities that we would like to recommend you. The first is Constance, on the edge of the Bodensee, on the border with Switzerland. We only stayed one night and visited the island of Mainau, a green paradise with a wonderful flora that includes big, strong sequoia trees, beautiful flowers, and a majestic palace. The park will take you 4 to 5 hours to visit entirely because you are only allowed to enter on foot. The second city is Frankfurt. I'm amazed in the way how the medieval center and the modern city skyline interact in harmony. A beautiful city that we hope to return to in the future. From this beautiful city encounter between the medieval and the modernity, I will say goodbye to you. I hope you really enjoyed this video as much as we enjoy to do it. So we see you in the